Alrighty, so let's go. Couple of things. We are going to, like I say, continue on with chapter 12. I was mistaken on the degree thing of the carbons, and what they said it was like eight. There are 8 questions that ask you about, is that a primary carbon, a secondary carbon, a tertiary carbon, or a quaternary carbon? That should be basically a what? A free 8 points. I mean a free 8 points. Now they do ask them a little different ways, but they're still asking the same question. Okay? Alrighty, so it is 416. Alrighty, 416. This is 6th period, and this is Chem 1110, chapter 12, day 2. And our objective is going to be able to identify constitutional isomers and go from condensed to skeletal. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about a couple of new things. Then we are going to do a little bit of review, and then we're actually going to do some spiral review from last chapter. Remember how there were several questions on the last test where they gave you a condensed formula, then they had you either write it complete or skeletal. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Well, what I've realized is it's actually really funny, because I didn't even really notice this until I had a mother in here last night. Do you guys remember me telling you that story about that mom that's taking this class? Did I tell you that story? So my wife's getting some throat procedure done. Yeah, they're sitting right there. All the extras are underneath it.
Thank you.
And it just so happens that there's a mother in there, and she is taking this class online, 100% online from the college. And they give 0 instruction. None. They had to buy like a $500 lab kit to do all the labs, and they have no instruction. So they expect them to read the book and pass the tests. Yeah. I'm like, really? So we're talking, and I said, well, you know, I know this guy, right? And just so happens I have a child in class, you know. And so I said, hey, you know, and I gave her my YouTube, and all she had to do is click on my YouTube videos, and her test scores have more than doubled. I mean, you were in here, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't know what she said?
They went from like a 40 to a 90.
Yeah. She was, I mean, I would say stoked, right, Richards? Yeah, she was pretty excited. So then she comes in now once a week and gets help. So yeah, I am that cool, I guess. You know, just saying. And I had to convince her. Like, we're up at the doctor's office, and we're talking. I'm like, dude, all you gotta do is come out. I know a guy. You know, and a couple of weeks ago, she finally broke down and came out, and she realized, man, that was stupid. I should have been doing that the whole time. So, kind of interesting. And so anyway, in helping her last night, it made me think of a couple things I can do with you guys to hopefully help us do well on this test as well. So I think my average last year was 87. So again, another really high score. So, all right, now we need to know what a constitutional isomer is. Constitutional isomer. And I'm going to be honest, they usually just call it an isomer. Okay? So constitutional isomer is the same formula, but the atoms are connected differently. Okay, and what that means is something like this. Like, let's say I gave you C5H12. Okay, C5H12. I could draw as this. Right, and we're not drawing all those H's in anymore. We talked about that, right? I could do that, correct? Or I could do this. Okay? These are both C5H12, correct? This, though, is pentane. Okay? This is not pentane anymore. What is this? Okay, keep going. You're close, Richards. Now 2. Isn't this 2, 2-2-dimethyl propane? Didn't we spend who was that? Oh. Did we not spend the entire period last time doing these? Somebody already came and got him. Some blonde got him. Okay. Didn't we literally spend the entire time last time doing this? Is that not what that would be? Right, I got 1, 2, 3. I'm just not skeletal anymore, but does it matter? No. Okay. Again, I know they're isomers because they have the same chemical formula. But they are arranged differently, and I can know that one of two ways. One way is I can look at that sucker and say they're obviously not the same. The other way is they're going to have a different what? If they're bonded together differently, they're going to have a different name. Does that make sense? Okay? So just to understand, same formula, bonded together differently. Okay? Now, we do need to do this. Did I have one up there? Nope, it's not up there. Alrighty, so we have got to review some condensed stuff. And incidentally, this is what your thing should have looked like. Okay? Now look, this is the mixed one. It's got all three of them in it, right? Then each one, the iron, the cobalt, and the copper, iron, cobalt, copper. Now, their copper was a lot brighter last night. I'm going to assume it just faded over time, right? But obviously, they are three different things. And if I look at it, see how they match up really well? And then obviously their unknown had to be copper. Same spot, yada, yada, yada. If you did the math, I'm pretty sure they're going to have the really close to the same CF value. Is that the RF value? Okay. So yeah, if yours doesn't look like this, yeah, you screwed it up. But we're not all going to redo it. It is what it is. Do your best. I'm not going to, I had some kids come in last night and do it again before you two, and theirs came out. I mean, he came in this morning and he was pissed. He's like, "What the?" Like, I don't know. Okay. So incidentally, that's what that's supposed to look like. Now, I have a couple of these we're going to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do one. And what I want to do is I want to go from condensed to skeletal to make sure we can see everything again, a little review. Although most of us did really well on that test, right? So hopefully this works. So we're going to look at this one. So this is what we got. We're going to go CH3, CH2, CH2, C, and then on that C I've got CH2, CH3 taken 3 times. Now watch. Watch and learn. Check that. Watch and remember. So we already learned this once, right, Hannah? Yeah, I could see the smile on your face. I couldn't see it, but I assume the eyes kind of squinted a little bit, you know. All right, now remember, I got 1, 2, I got 4 initial C's, right? Get that one, that one, that one, and that one gets me to here, right? Now this C basically has 3 what on it? What is this group here? Anybody remember? Well, how many carbons are in it? Oh, just in these 2. Isn't that an ethyl group? So doesn't it basically have that, that, and that? Isn't that what that would look like? Because that carbon is surrounded by 3 of them, correct? 2 carbons there, 2 carbons there, 2 carbons there, and then I would go and just make sure I had all of these, right? Does that make sense? Do you all see how I got there? Yes or no? Yeah? Now, from there are like 3 or 4 different questions they're going to ask you. Okay, what would this be a great spot to ask? What kind of question would be great to ask right here? Anybody know? They could ask me bond angle, but we're not talking bond angles anymore. I don't think there's any more bond angle stuff. Primary, tertiary, that would be the best time. Why, Bingham? There's so many bonds, but this is a unique spot where we actually have a 4-bonded, a quaternary, right? They're going to say, what is the, not bond degree, what they call it, what was the word they used for that? Anybody remember? It's left me for some reason. Well, they just say classify. What's the classification of that carbon right there? I can either write, what are the two ways I could answer that? It's a 4-degree or quaternary. Let me make sure I wrote that. I spelled that right. Let me see, where's it at? Quaternary. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now, then they will say, name it. Yo, Criddle.
So, how you can tell if it's like the 1, 2, or 3, or 4 degree is just how many bonds.
How many carbon bonds?
Oh,
It's got to be bonded to a carbon, yes. Okay. Most of these are pretty much hydrocarbons, so, but yeah, just carbon-carbon bonds. Okay, and then obviously, this one is going to be what? Yeah, that's going to be a secondary, and then this one is going to be a primary. So it's only got 1 carbon-carbon bond, right? Now, let's say I wanted you to name that sucker. What is its name? Anybody want to stab at that one? So 3,3 dash dimethyl. Diethyl, you're right. Diethyl. Did you say diethyl? Okay. I thought you said dimethyl. I'm sorry. Not the first time I've heard something different come out of a woman's mouth. And that is funny and true. And guys, you will know exactly what I'm talking. Son of a bitch. Cal's got me all flustered. Diethyl. And then what? Hexane. Is that right? Okay. Now, what's probably one of the other really good questions I could ask you to do here? I mentioned it earlier. Nobody? Right here. Yeah, skeletal, right? So, I'm going to go zigzag here. Anybody want to tell me how to do this? Nobody?
Zig, zag, zig, zag.
Okay.
And then on the third from the right side, then you just do two opposites, like one zig and then zig, yeah.
I think you're very good.
Say that again.
I think you need to down.
No, I got to get rid of a zag, don't I? Actually, that was a zig, I think. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? On the third carbon, I've got a 2 carbon there and a 2 carbon there. Does it matter how I put them in there? No, I could have went 1 down, 1 up. It doesn't matter. Okay? So yeah, that are the main kinds of questions they're going to ask you on the test. If they give you condensed. What?
Remember how it looks like a swastikai?
Yeah,
It-
that's a bit of drawing.
It what?
It was a little bit swastikai.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not good. Obviously not what was intended. What I said to my class yesterday kind of reminds me of the Nazca lines. And not one of my students, I had 1 in 3 classes, know what the Nazca lines were. Who knows what the Nazca lines are? Me and Corinne, that's it. What are you two talking about, Iverson?
What color are my shorts? Blue.
I don't know, I can't see.
They're blue.
Wow, that's like that dress from a couple years ago. I would say it's blue. Yeah? But what if they're purple? What does it matter? You got a black shirt on, it goes with everything.
It's true. He just said, he asked, he's like, yeah, I like your purple shorts. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I don't have an answer for that. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay? We are going to do this. I'm going to give you a condensed structure. Okay? You're going to write it complete and skeletal. You understand? Then we'll go back and answer some of the other questions. Okay, so here we go. Okay, this is what I want. I want complete. I want skeletal. And I want name. Let's change it up. Complete, skeletal, and name. And I want 7 hands. Robert, did that test open back up for you?
Yes, so.
Okay.
I never closed out of it.
Okay. When you are done, though, close out of it and see if you can go back in. One. I need 7. Two. Three. Four. 3 more. Who's it for?
Hannah Bruce.
Hannah, raise your hand. Thank you. Is that for like now?
It doesn't say. It just says please come and see the video.
Can you wait?
Probably.
What?
Probably.
Okay. Am I gonna get 3 more? So 5? 2 more? Come on, people, be brave. Six, 1 more. Iverson. All right, let's get going. Based on the confusion I'm seeing on the 2 faces in the back, yeah, it's you 2 I'm talking about. In case you weren't sure, okay. Now this is what I would do, and I kind of hear Fish thinking the same way. I would have said I'm going to look right here. I'm going to say I know that this C has got these 2 coming off it, that H, and then I'm going to finish my chain. So I would have done this. I would have went that with that. Okay, now over here I've got 2 of these groups, right? So I'm going to go there and there for one of them, there and there for the other one, and that's those 2 groups. Does that make sense? Then I'm going to have 3 CH2s. Those are those, correct? And then I've got one more C with an H, like that, right? And then I've got again a CH3 and a CH3. Something like that. Is that what you had? So what did you not see when you had that look of surprise on your face?
For the CH3, CH2 taken twice at the very beginning.
Yeah?
I put the C, like the first C on the right of it, and then I put 2 CH3s off of it, thinking if I had to put the CH2s.
Exactly. You had to go both of them. Okay? Now, so that would be complete, right? Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carbons, which really means I only need 7 zigzags, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, because it counts at the end, right? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got my 8 carbons, right? Okay. Now, off of carbon 3, I've got 2 more carbons. Like that, right? Those 2 are those 2, right? Off of carbon, what's that? Technically, it wouldn't be 3 because I'd have to number this from the other way because I branch quicker, don't I? Right? Wouldn't I start numbering it over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Because then I branch it 2 and 6 instead of 3 and 7, right? Okay, so here's my skeleton. Okay, now, do you have this? Yeah. No? Do you have this? What did you get for a name?
2-methyl-6-ethyl.
Did anybody get that besides Hannah? Why has it got to be ethyl first? Alphabetically comes before M, so it actually should have been 6-ethyl-2-methyl octane, right? Now, interesting question here. Let's say this other one was right, or whatever. What would those 2 things have been of each other? They'd have been isomers, right? Because they would have had the same formula, but they would have been bonded together differently, right? So, is that... Yes, Garrett.
So I only have 5 carbons in my main chain, because I did the C2, H2, CH3 on the left side. I did it
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I've still got to count
The
longest chain. Yeah, I can't. So if you went up here and you're saying you went up there and made that an H, it doesn't matter. I got to start and get that longest chain. And there is, and this is something that I was going to wait to talk to you guys about, but there are a couple of questions on the test that are like that. They're going to say, hey, here's a name. Is it legit? And you got to draw it out and realize that that name they're using technically doesn't use the longest backbone. So you got to rename it. And they're probably the 2 hardest questions on the test. Simply because there's no way for me to give you a gazillion options, and you know what I mean? You've got to just draw what they have and figure out if they're naming it correctly. And they're not usually. Thus, the nature of it being a test question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, kind of think about that. Is this making any sense? Well, I got 2 more, but we'll do at least one of them, Bingham. I always have a little extra in case there's struggles. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Alrighty, so now, interesting, they draw one like this. And I actually think this makes it a little bit easier because they actually draw the bond and show you which carbon that's attached to. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, I want complete, I want skeletal, and I want name. Let's go 7 hands again. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 more. 6 and 7 and 8. There we go. Alrighty, so who was 4? You've already went. Who was 5? Richards, what do you got for me for my complete?
Complete, so on top you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 carbons and just all in alignment. And going down off the third one, you're going to have a carbon and 3 more carbons to the right of that.
So you drew it like that.
And everything else is easy.
Okay. Does that work? That'd work. Okay. Now, what number were you?
Like 5.
So who was 6? Okay, so you already did the skeleton. Who was 7? What do you, give me what I would do for the skeleton in the zigzag fashion. Who's it for?
Brendan Buxton.
In the back. Raise your hand, Buxton. Thank you. What do you got for me?
Okay, so it goes up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down. And then on the third one in, you go like, I guess, because I wrote them down, so would you go across?
It don't matter. However you want to draw it. I'll squeeze it in.
Okay, so down, or, wait, how do you say that?
So let's call that a zig.
Okay, so zig, and then zag, and then zig, and then zag.
Like that.
Yep, there.
That would work, right? Now, so you were 7. Geddes, I think you were my 8, right? What do you got for a name on this?
4-propyl nonane.
4-propyl nonane. Is he right?
Actually, I meant ethyl, not
You met Ethel.
I meant ethyl.
That's a guy for you. Yeah, see? Said something, immediately knew that's not right, based upon the look on her face, so he said something else. Nobody sees the joke in there. It's funny. It really is. Yeah. One day you'll know. It's 5. So, oh, it is 5 because it's 5 either way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if I go 5 left, 5 right, 5 ethyl nonane. Now, this is,
Don't you start on the left because the branch is,
okay, but remember, it's about, and this is why I chose this one, because of what Garrett did earlier. It's not about where they're at. It's about, I'm going to count the longest carbon. Well, the longest carbon chain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't matter the direction, does it? Now do you see why I did this? Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so what is that?
Yeah, it's not. No, he was right. He just had it on the wrong carbon. It's 5-ethyl nonane. It looks like it is 3-butyl heptane, but it's not. You see what I'm saying now, Richards? Yeah? What?
Matthew slapped his forehead so hard.
But that's why we're doing it now. It's better now than the day after the test. Does that make sense? Or no? Okay, let's, one more? Okay, one more. All right, so here we go. So,
I was like, what the heck is no name?
You're like, I don't get it. You're like,
sorry.
cool.
Okay, so same thing. I want complete. I want skeletal. And I want name. Ooh, and when we're done, then we'll do a couple of degree or primary, secondary carbons. Okay? So let's go complete skeletal name, but let's go to 10. We got to 8 last time. Let's go to 10. And what I've realized is that it is the usual suspects every time. Okay, we need to get some variety in here, you know? It's like I had a, don't judge me, but I had a kid the other day ask me if I could go back to high school, what's one thing I would do different? Do you know what I told him? Kiss them all. Straight up. That was the one thing. And the minute I said that, I thought, I probably shouldn't have said that. But it's actually probably the one thing I would change the most. Yeah. And I wasn't a very good person anyway. You know? Yo, Credit!
I wasn't asking the question. I have everything but the name, though, because I haven't heard of the name.
Why not?
Because I wasn't here.
I taught that hard.
I didn't watch the videos yet. I don't know, I was on the
Man. You know, I know this guy that goes through a lot of time and effort and work
Yeah.
to.
I know him too. He seems pretty cool.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Hey, your sister friend requested me the other day. I was pretty excited.
Aspen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She on a mission?
Not yet.
Not yet.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's like, there we go. Student that liked me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it? We got 1, we got 2. We're going to go a half on Krill. I'll make you 3. Okay? 4. Garrett, you're 5. Halfway. I need 5 more hands, people. 6, 7, 8. 2 more.
Oh, forgot that part. I had to write it. Forgot this part.
You just like checking people's work there? Confidence is high. 9, 10. Woo-hoo! Alrighty, so who was 5? Okay, Garrett, what do you got?
For the, yeah,
So I want to go complete.
I did 6 C's in a row and change. And then on the 3rd and the 4th C, I put an H above it. And then I just put like a 2C chain underneath those in.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it? The rest are all H's?
Yeah.
Anybody else have that? Yeah? Now, might yours be drawn differently? Yeah, but it doesn't matter, right? Now, so, okay, so we're going to go consensus on that. Oh, I see what you did. That makes sense. You went here, and then just brushed off the sides. Yeah, that's what I would have done. Okay, so you were not, what number?
That's 5.
So who was 6? Okay, so zigzag me here.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Zig, zag, zig, zag, and then a zig.
Okay.
And then on the 3rd one,
Right here.
yes, I have a zig and a zag.
Okay.
And then on the 4th one, a zig and a zag.
Like that.
Yes.
Okay. Is he right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were 6, and who was 7? What do you?
Oh, I don't know.
You were 7, but you've already answered one. So let's go, Bingham.
3, 4 dash, I got 4.
So 3, 4 dash diethyl Is he right? Is this coming together or not? Yeah? Yes. Oh, great one. Or what are you saying, Fish? At least I didn't have to be called Master Supreme Overlord. I actually had a kid sitting right where Cal's sitting. He borrowed my calculator one day. And when he gave it back to me, it was off. The next day when I turned it on, he'd written Master Supreme Overlord like 7,000 times on my calculator. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, that's your new nickname. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's going to catch on. I told my wife that joke, and you know what she did? She laughed. Yeah, she laughed. And she goes, you're not even the master of this house. How can you be the Master Supreme Overlord? And I'm like, you're exactly right, because I'm not. I'm smart. I know things. Okay? I know that I am not the boss. And any husband that tells you different is either a fool or a liar. I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay? You know what? I got other shit to do, but we'll just wait. So we did that. We did constitutional isomers, right? Okay. Well, that's all we got done today. Oh, no, we did this. We did the naming of condensed because I showed you how to do that, so that is done. Ooh, I was getting worried. So we got, this is easy next time. That's really easy because that's it. The less branching something has, the higher its boiling point. That's like easy. That's just fact. Hydrocarbons don't exhibit hydrogen bonding. Does anybody know why hydrocarbons don't exhibit hydrogen bonding? Yeah, there's no F or N, right? It's got to be an H bonded to an F or an N. So if it's a hydrocarbon, all it has is hydrogens and carbons, so it can't hydrogen bonds. We're gonna cover those two, and we'll cover these last two last time. And it's funny because both of these are questions I come up with last night as I was helping this lady out. So it actually worked really well. Okay? So these two you just need to know. Just know that and know that. Okay?
The less
Less branching, higher boiling point. There's a whole bunch of stuff I could get into that don't matter. Just know that if there's a whole bunch of branches, it's going to have a lower boiling point than something that has either fewer branches or no branches. So if I have, like, let's say I was going to rate some things, right? And I said, I got something with no branches, something with one branch, something with two branches, something with three branches, right? That's how its boiling point would go. The highest boiling point would be no branches. Then I'd have one branch, then two branches, then three branches. That's just something you need to know just because there's a question on the test about that. And then there's a question, obviously, if I'm writing it down, you know what's on the test, right? That hydrocarbons don't exhibit hydrogen bonds because there's no ET on it, F or N. Okay? Okay, time is yours. Use it wisely. And if you want one of these scholarship pamphlets, I've got some. Are you done that? Oh, it does? Yeah, right here. Yeah, see you, Provost. Tell your teacher I said thank you.
Can I buy one?